Hey everybody, welcome to Alpha Flight Monday. We got a double dose today. Alpha Flight and Avengers. It's a story continued from one to the other. And we're going to take a look at both of them. Now these issues bring in the Marrina saga, and well, sort of brings it to a close for Alpha Flight's sake. Although now I'm relying on a 30-year memory, because I do know, well, okay, let me not get too far ahead of myself. It brings back the Marrina saga, which was one of the first storylines that was dealt with in Alpha Flight. Marrina being an alien, and they didn't know this necessarily right off the bat, an alien who had actually been seeded on the Earth millions of years ago. It's a species that would do this, and the eggs that they seeded on a planet would hatch, and these alien creatures would adopt a form similar to the dominant life form, and they would then savagely conquer the planet. I mean, you know, bloody and all that good stuff. And so her egg is found by like a fisherman and opened by the fisherman's wife, and the first thing she sees being a person, she takes a human sort of form. And so we get many issues dealing with this origin of hers and the way she can become a very savage looking humanoid creature when she's around another of her kind. Ultimately, the Submariner becomes her love, and he wants to marry her, and this doesn't go particularly well, and she basically flees, and it sort of lets everybody think that she was killed, except Puck. Puck knows that she still lives, but he lets her leave. Well, Atuma, the warlord of Atlantis, finds her, captures her, and uses her to draw in the Submariner. He wants to embarrass the Submariner in front of the Atlanteans so that they will never again seek to be ruled by the Submariner. He leaves because it doesn't look like he's going to manage to win the fight. But we all know he's going to be back. So, first, we're going to get into Alpha Flight number 39, October of 1985. And the story will be continued in Avengers number 272. The Invasion of Atlantis. Guest starring the Mighty Avengers, Bill Mantlo writer, David Ross penciler, Will Sportasio inker, Jim Novak letterer, Bob Sharon colorer, Carl Potts editor, Jim Shooter editor-in-chief. And so we have Aurora, North Star, flying Puck. Doesn't look like he's enjoying it all that much. They fly pretty fast, and neither of them necessarily are paying too much attention to his comfort. So they, having just confronted the being called Pestilence up in the Arctic Circle, are returning home. It was not the greatest battle in the world for them, although they did manage to scrape through it. And they notice a guest lurking. Whoops, sorry. Get that a little better. This guest lurking about. Puck leaps down, does his acrobatic thing, and says to the man, "I believe introductions are in order, eh? I am Bira, royal cousin to Prince Namor, rightful ruler of Atlantis. My lord has commanded me to seek Alpha Flight's aid." I like this drawing a lot of Snowbird. Good job, Ross. "The Submariner has aided us in the past. Of course we'll help him. You've swum a long way. Here, let me help you to your feet. I am an Atlantean nobleman. I need no assistance from a dwarf." Dude, everybody is going on about the dwarf. Even the dwarf sometimes. Because if you've seen past episodes or read past issues of Alpha Flight, you will know that that is not the actual normal natural form of Puck. And so he's not real happy about being in that form. I do notice too, he's got like a winter suit on too. We're seeing a little less skin from Puck, which might be to people's liking, if I'm honest. But anyways, so they bring Mira in to get the down low on what's happening with Atlantis. We have a scene between Snowbird and her husband, Doug Thompson. And he's saying, like, we just came from losing the life force of our newborn son to a horror called pestilence. As soon as you're rested, we've got to rescue him. Must we, Douglas? My marriage to you and the birth of that child was my undoing. By binding myself to mortality, I have become mortal and have been rejected by the gods. And yet, perhaps if I forswear my mistakes, I will again become welcome in paradise. Whoa! So a minute ago, she very much wanted to save the life of her son. And now, not so much. Mistakes? Is that all our son and I are to you? I did not mean. Bloody blazes, you didn't. It's become clear as crystal to me that you belong with your fellow freaks of Alpha Flight, or somewhere off in the clouds with the gods, and not married to a mere mortal like Corporal Doug Thompson of the RCMP. Not being human, I can't expect you to know what motherly love means. But I'm human, and a father, and I won't rest till I've saved our son. Now, Shaman, who has returned back to his youth, and I really should call him Talisman now, I fear Pestilence may find his parents before they find him. A premonition, Shaman, or a prophecy? You've presented us with a problem. So, a brief interlude in the life of Snowbird, and we go back to Atlantis. And she's saying, look, Atlantis is a sovereign nation, and the Atlantean people have forced the Submariner to abdicate. They've chosen Atuma. Any assault on Atlantis to free Marrina by Alpha Flight is going to be regarded as an act of war. We can act on our own, not as agents of Canada. That ain't going to be how Atlantis or the world will see it. And that was North Star saying, we can just do it ourselves. Madison Jeffries is like, that's probably not going to work out, man. Maybe Marrina doesn't want our help. After all, she never returned to Alpha. She couldn't, for personal reasons. Can you tell us about it, Puck? Marrina loved Prince Namor, then the evil master exposed her to the true alien mate, her true alien mate, and unleashed a monstrous side of Marrina's personality. So again, that's going back to those past issues. And so, while they're discussing this, Gary Cody appears on the screen. And he says, Atuma is rightful ruler of Atlantis now, and Alpha is expressly prohibited from involving Canada in a war. Gary Cody, Vindicator, you're responsible for this. Alpha's liaison with the Canadian government. He monitored our meeting? Sure, he's a spy. Of course, Jeffries. Mansion Alpha's bugged. What? I admit certain devices were installed when Alpha's headquarters were remodeled to facilitate electronic surveillance. Since Ottawa pays Alpha's bills, they ordered me to keep tabs on you. And since the eavesdropping was non-intrusive, no strings attached. Wasn't that our deal when we accepted government funding, Gary? Well, yes, but then, Mr. Cody, you tell the Prime Minister and Parliament to keep their noses out of our business, or the deal's off. And she blows away the little view screen. Yeah, Gary Cody's not the best guy in the world. The liaison for the Avengers wasn't a real peach either. So it looks like they're going to go and invade Atlantis. So the Omnijet takes off. Everybody's aboard, or at least just about everybody that we can see here. Somebody says something. Bira says something about Roger Box being a cripple, as he puts it. And North Star, interestingly, says, curb your tongue, Atlantean. A cripple Roger Box may be, but he's our cripple. Wow. Okay, so, for North Star, that's actually pretty nice. For normal people, it'd be a little off. But she's, Vindicator's kind of like, wow, North Star defending a fellow Alphan? Huh. She's kind of impressed by that, and maybe the team's coming together. Of course, the team always seems like they're coming together and coming apart at the same time. Okay, so anyways, and so Vindicator's kind of impressed that North Star is doing the right thing, and she's thinking about, God, we've been through all these battles. It's tough. I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job leading, yada yada. North Star now confronts Bera, and he says, I want to know two things: where Atlantis is, and how we will fight underwater once we arrive there. So he agrees to give the coordinates to Mr. Box. Madison Jeffries going to deal with a way for them to fight underwater. He says, but while I'm getting ready to demonstrate, I think there's another question nobody's yet asked. Mr. Jeffries is referring to a background check I had Alpha Next do on Bera, which reveals him to at one time have been the Submariner's mortal enemy. Entails to astonish number 90. We've been tricked? Be on your guard, Alphans. I will tolerate your slander only because I have sworn to bring you to my cousin, the Submariner. Why would you aid a man you once tried to dethrone? Though a poor prince, Atlantean blood still flows in Namor's veins, whereas Atuma has no legitimate claim to kingship. So, it's all about blood for Bera. So, using designs from Box, Madison Jeffries is able to create, and this is his ability, his special superpower, these basically kind of like exoskeletons with these helmets that the non-water breathing Alphans can wear to go into combat underwater. And of course, robots don't need to breathe, so Box is going to be okay. Alpha may be ready, but it's Atlantis that fires the first shot. Subsurface-to-surface stealth missiles, virtually undetectable. And they make the noise Vreet, which is kind of fun. And deadly. So they blow up the Omnijet. Once again, we owe you a vote of thanks, Mr. Jeffries. Only a man capable of transmuting metal could have transformed 10 tons of plunging debris into a floating life raft. So Alpha is not out of the fight yet. But now technically, Atlantis fired on them. So Atlantis actually carried out an act of war against Canada. And in the Marvel Universe, that doesn't sound crazy. In the real world, a little bit. And so they attack Atlanteans and Atuma's barbarians. And I know I'm like, is there a polar bear? Oh, wait a minute. That's Snowbird. That's Snowbird taking a polar bear form. And so we get the fight here. Zap, polar bear, grabbing people, etc. I'm sure Puck is in there bouncing around doing what he does best. Aurora is flying around. Shoom. Whatever the cause, the thing struck the remains of our Omnijet, dumping our fellow Alphans into the drink. So it's a submersible vessel pops out and plunges them in. I like this shot. That's a great pose from Box. But unfortunately, Madison Jeffries was not wearing one of those suits as he got plunged into the water. And so you see that Snowbird has taken the form of a whale, and they see Jeffries, and Bera's like, oh my God, he was almost eaten by that whale. And they're like, no, it's cool. So Shaman commands air spirits to save Mr. Jeffries. They will bear you to the surface, where we shall join you once we've saved Marrina. So up he goes. Why did I put myself in a position where Alpha had to save me? Why didn't I make a deep sea suit for myself? But having fought beside Alpha against some of their most formidable foes, how could I tell them that I'm mortally afraid of water? Uh-oh, that's not good for poor old Madison Jeffries. This is ridiculous. 2 of my Alphans can't swim? My only shortcoming. You'll pardon the pun, eh? So apparently Puck can't swim either, but at least he's not going to die down there. So, again, this is a long-running combat for the most part, and they're all using their different powers against the against the Atlanteans as they go. We get Puck riding on top of the whale. I love it with one of the weapons of these guys that he took from him. That's just good stuff right there. We get the Atlanteans running away from that giant mouth. The first wave of Atlanteans has turned tail and fled, Alphans. Yet more warriors arise from the depths. Well, we had to anticipate. Wait, those aren't Atlantean troops or Atuma's barbarian elite. They're the Submariner and the Avengers. And so we get this meeting between Alpha Flight and the Avengers. And of course, we have to have the Canadian flag shaking hands with the American flag. Good to see you again, Namor. And you, little Puck. Watch it, old friend. It's been a long day. And so we get little clips from all of them. We got Hercules. We got Captain Marvel. That's the Captain Marvel that I knew at first when I got into comics. And she was very cool. I liked her. Black Knight. Oh, is that and Wasp is there too? I think she was maybe still kind of in charge at that point. Maybe. I'm not sure. Cap might have been. By the way, Captain America, I'm Vindicator. Guardian was my late husband. I'm sorry. I've gotten over it. Almost. It must have been you that destroyed the Atlantean sub that shot our Omni-ship down. You've Hercules and Namor to thank for that. In fact, they took it upon themselves as a point of honor. So we see, why did that sub go flying out of the water? It was Namor and Hercules who did it. Okay, here we get I love this. I love Hercules' face back there. He's grim. He's ready to kick some ass. I have thought hard on it since word was brought to me that Tuma now ruled Atlantis. In former times, my pride would have demanded that I take back that which was mine. But Atlantis is not mine. When I ruled her neither wisely nor well. In the end, she cast me out. Pride would compel me to force myself upon my people, but they have chosen a barbarian over me. So be it. All I demand from Atlantis and Atuma now is that they free my beloved Marrina, she whom I had thought lost to me forever, that I might make her my bride. In that much we can help you, Namor. International law sanctions the rescue of hostages. And we see Bera here. I once despised my hybrid cousin, yet now, when he has forsworn his kingdom and his pride, I think I have never seen a man more noble. I must convince him to reclaim the throne. Okay, so now we got Alpha and the Avengers teamed up together. We got some great battle scenes. I love it. Hercules going nuts on these guys. Oh, how I prayed my beloved would not risk himself for me. That's Marrina. I, Atuma, knew he would, and by arriving accompanied by his surface dweller allies, he shows the Atlantean people his true allegiance. You may have usurped my throne, Atuma. Go, Namor, we'll run interference, blah, 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 but you may not malign my motives. Your assault on Atlantis is proof enough that your true loyalties lie above the waves. It is good to see you again, Marrina. Although I wish we could have met under more auspicious circumstances. Wow, Northstar really is chilling out. He is being a nice guy. And she's like, no, I'm not worth this. I have to stop this. And so we're fighting. And it's really down to Namor and Atuma at that point. With everybody else doing their stuff around them. We have the Atlanteans are sort of surrounding our heroes here. And they notice, they're encircled. Success hinged on snatching Marrina from her captors and retreating. The longer we stay, the greater the chance of sparking an international incident. Diplomacy demands we get out. But duty says we save our comrades. No contest as far as I can see. Hit 'em, Alpha. Have at the foe, Avengers. Good stuff. But no matter how mighty the super team supreme of both the United States and Canada may be, not even they can long withstand the assembled might of Atlantis. Oh, here's an image for you. I have long maintained that he is a fool who shows mercy to a defeated foe. On my command, slay them all. To be concluded in Avengers number 272. And here's where, like, you get the happy days will be continued, and you hear everybody go, oh, in the audience. don't say aw, because it's time to read Avengers number 272. And we'll try to move quickly through here because this is obviously going to be a longer issue. Now, in this particular issue, we're actually going to go back in time a little bit to when the Avengers, who had also been contacted by Bera in a past issue, are first going underwater to deal with this. And we're going to find, the history. By the way, this is, John Buscema doing the pencils. Look at that. Oh, some good stuff. And so a lot of this is sort of backtracked. We've already read some of this kind of stuff. And so we have the Atlanteans. Let's see. They reach the outer fortifications. And the Atlanteans are bringing up their heavy armament. And so they're swinging the guns around. No, put down your weapons, and no harm will befall you, on my word, as the true submariner, and mine as leader of the Avengers. Nice try, you two, but they're not going for it. We'll have to play hardball. So they take a shot at Captain America. Aimed right at his shield, too. Not the brightest thing in the world. So the Avengers go toe-to-toe with the Atlanteans. Buscema was able to capture that Jack Kirby feel really, really nicely with his work, even though his art doesn't outwardly look a ton like Jack Kirby's, but he still was able to get the posing right and all that. So it always feels right to watch these kind of things. Hercules is going ham. He's going after this Bracow. So basically, like in the Alpha Flight issue, it's a lot of fisticuffs, a lot of fighting. You get that every once in a while. And so here we have Alpha Flight showing up. So it's actually kind of interesting. I'm actually trying to square this now. Okay, so yeah. So this is where, let's bring these two panels in at the same time. Okay. So here we have the whale form, and they see people coming. And here's the Avengers, and they see something going on over there. It's not an exact duplicate in terms of the panels. They don't slide together perfectly, but you ultimately get the same thing as Alpha Flight arrives, and they make some plans, and we have him here talking about they choose the role of a barbarian over mine, yada, yada, yada. We're playing with the big leagues now, eh, Box? I'll say Puck. So they're kind of, Puck and Box are impressed that, like, man, they're hanging out with the Avengers. These are the big guys. And there's a Atuma. Now, you see, that is a very Jack Kirby sort of pose with the arms like that. Love Buscema. I love it. And, he's so well known for Conan, and he did an amazing job with Conan. But the dude could draw superheroes, too. So now we get from Buscema's perspective, the attack of Alpha Flight and the Avengers. The Avengers get a little more prominent in this one, obviously, because this is their book, and the Avengers fans would want to see that. We get a little bit more of Hercules punching people out. Look at the face of agony. Gotta love it. Captain Marvel doing her thing. Atuma. And so here we get Namor going after Atuma. It's really interesting that the two books really cover a lot of the same territory. But what you're getting to see is two different artists and how they handle it. Slightly different perspectives. We have North Star shattering the thing to free Marrina. We have them now surrounded. And that's more or less where we kind of end at the end of this one. So you see, surrounded by all the weapons, Atuma says, kill them all. Here they are surrounded by all the weapons. Different look. Same basic panel, though. Same basic idea. And we have Atuma up here. You called me a fool, Namor, but you were wrong. A fool shows mercy to his foes. Slay them all. No, by my beard, none shall be slain this day. Namor, Box, Vindicator, follow Hercules' lead. The rest of you, come with me. Captain Marvel, cover us. Yeah, so I think Wasp is in charge of the Avengers at this point in time. It would be Captain Marvel before too long. I do remember that when I was reading it back in the day. So Captain Marvel neutralizes the stunned Atlanteans' mobile artillery. 8 heroes whisk Marrina towards the surface, shielding her with their own bodies, while below 4 mighty figures battle on against the massed legions of Atlantis. The Wasp thinks fast on her feet, but then she's been at this longer than I have. As Vindicator channels her battlesuit's power into concussive force beams, Box takes a more direct approach. This has gone on long enough, Attuma. Your plan has been foiled. Call off your legions and surrender? Never. You have beaten me in times past, half-breed, but this time things are different. And you see, Krum, he gets these boulders land on top of him. This time, Attuma is the sovereign of Atlantis and Namor the usurper. And this time, Namor will know the ultimate defeat. You may rule Attuma, but you shall never slay me. Wood. Right in the chest. Right in the breadbasket. Listen to me. I don't want your throne. You are serious? Yes. Now order your men to stop fighting before my allies are forced to injure more of them. So he is PO'd. He wants an end to this nonsense. And it's really a big deal in the history of the Submariner character. He's really taking a different attitude than he ever has in the past. So we're seeing some genuine character development. And it wouldn't be too much longer before John Byrne was writing a Namor series where he sort of becomes like a business person. It's almost what Byrne was going to do with Lex Luthor when he took over the Superman title. I don't remember really reading many of those, but it's definitely they were trying to turn over a new leaf for the Submariner and do something different with him. And so they're starting to get the better of him, and all of a sudden Box is having trouble. He's been merged too long in his armor. And she's like, okay, get up there and phase out. So he shoots up with his jet boots and almost hits the other Avengers up there. Marrina, where is Marrina? Soon far below. Look about you, Attuma. None of this destruction was necessary. The affairs of Atlantis are now but part of my past. I doubt that I would ever have returned had you not taken Marrina prisoner. There is a saying among the surface people that every nation has the government it deserves. If that is so, then I pity Atlantis. Let us return to the land, Namor. There is nothing for you here. Hercules. I love the Hercules character in Marvel. I really do. He's fun. He's a fun character, man. Just a big, crazy knucklehead. Should be a character they could do well in the movies, but probably not. Attuma, I will. Marrina, no, go back. The creature attacks our warlord. Stop her. And they shoot Marrina. Vermin, you'll cause her no further pain. Namor, let him go to her, Hercules. But if she should need aid, I'll worry about that. You get to the surface before your air runs out. Come on, big guy, let's go. All right, Attuma. You can keep on running Atlantis for as long as these people put up with you. We won't interfere. But if you ever pull anything like this again, the Avengers will be on top of you like mud on a crawfish. And don't you forget it. I probably should be doing that with a more New Orleans Cajun accent, but I'm not going to do that because I don't think I could do it justice. And so we get a little thoughtful moment from Attuma. Much has happened here this day that I cannot forget, woman. Atlantis will not allow me to forget, but I shall make you pay for this humiliation if it takes all eternity. Well, he's taking it well, as you would expect from Attuma of Atlantis. It's not Attuma. It is Attuma. That's his name. It's not. Anyways, several leagues beyond the great undersea city. So here we have this moment between Marrina, and you see the appearance she now holds. It's not. She was once very, very cute, almost kind of like anime cute in a way, because she had like big eyes and anyways, very cute. Now she has this monstrous appearance. And so he finds her. Go away, Namor. I don't want you to see me like this. You've been wounded. I only wish to. I'll be all right. Some wounds heal quickly. Please, go. Marrina, you don't know how I searched for you. I didn't want you to find me, Namor. I knew you'd repeat your offer of marriage, and I am not worthy. You're in pain. You don't know what you're saying. This is when she turns and he sees her for the first time like this. Don't I? Must I show you the horror that I've become? I am an alien, Namor. The only reason I'm female, the only reason I'm even humanoid, is that the first organism I came in direct contact with was a human woman. There was one other living creature on this earth with my body chemistry, the monster with which the Master entrapped me. The Master wanted us to destroy each other and thus rid the earth of our kind, but in bringing us together, he very nearly propagated our race. And we see Captain Marvel approaches to check on Marrina. Oh, good Lord. Unseen in her neutrino form, Captain Marvel becomes a shocked witness to Marrina's story. My race was bioengineered with breeding in mind. Brief contact with my mate triggered changes within me. God, that's just like when my wife and I met. Maybe not exactly, but eventually awakening an alien spawning instinct that has left this body racked with pain. Marrina, how can I help? You cannot. I am a monster, Namor. There is no future for us. Forgive me. That is something else I cannot do, Marrina. Then try to remember me as I was. I must go now, to lose myself amid the depths. Oh, no, Marrina, don't go. The energy woman, you heard. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but maybe we can help you. The Avengers know a lot of top biologists. They could at least try to ease your pain. None can help. Get away from me. Leave me alone. And she basically flies through her and off into the ocean depths. The Marrina story does not end here completely. Don't worry, Namor. I'll catch her before. No, Captain. This is no longer Avengers business. It has become a personal matter. I will find Marrina myself. You invoked personal privilege a week ago and wound up having your mind changed the hard way. This is different. Is it? We're your teammates, Namor, and Captain America may be the best friend you have on Earth. Why won't you let us help? Because this is no longer a case of saving an innocent from oppressors. It is a matter of recovering a lost soul. Marrina has been through a terrible ordeal, in part because of my love for her. Her. A little bit of mistake there. Had I not rashly proposed marriage, Atuma would never have tried to use her against me. Now her own body has begun to betray her, and she is utterly alone, more an outcast than even I. A lot more sensitivity than we're used to with the Submariner. I feel responsible for her, do you understand? I think so, Namor, but don't forget your other responsibilities. There's still a $2 billion lawsuit facing you back in New York. You're the one who insisted on going to court. Recognition in the court of my father's native land is very important to me. It is a priceless opportunity to declare my place amongst the humanity of the surface world. This could be your last opportunity. I know that. But I cannot abandon Marrina now. I must help her find some sort of peace. I want you to tell the Wasp that I wish to take a leave of absence from the active ranks of the Avengers. Tell her I shall return as soon as I can. Indefinite leave. Are you really sure about this, Namor? I am not certain of anything in this world, Marvel, save duty and honor. When the first is ignored, the second must wither and die. Farewell, Captain. I shall miss being an Avenger. I shall miss you all. Goodbye, Namor. When he first joined us, I wondered if Namor could be trusted. Just today, I doubted his motives. Have I finally seen the true Submariner, now that it may be too late? And will we ever see him again? Next, the Masters of Evil. Well, next for the Avengers, but not next in this series, because we're just doing Alpha Flight here, and had Alpha Flight not appeared, we wouldn't be looking at this Avengers comic. This was a good era for the Avengers. That's when I started collecting them, and I'm recollecting them now, and I really enjoy it. So it's fun to read those. And they, like I said, the Marrina saga will show up again in the Avengers. I don't remember if Alpha Flight gets involved. When it does, I'll have to look at those issues as I go and figure that out. So, a little longer one today because it was split over a couple different issues. Fun to see different perspectives of similar panels from different artists. Fun to see a little bit of change from North Star. A little bit of change for the old Submariner there. Overall, pretty good issues. Getting a little bit more into some just, every once in a while, you need some issues that have good old just fighting in them. You just do. You can't get too into the weeds on character and this and that, and oh my goodness, and sometimes you just need a good slugfest. We get that in these issues. And don't draw Marrina's saga to a close, but we advance it a little bit further. So, Alpha Flight number 39. Let me know what you thought of these in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed the video, please like, maybe think about subscribing, maybe share with a friend. Alpha Flight Monday happens every Monday and will happen until the end of this year when it will become Justice League International Monday. But we got a lot more issues of Alpha Flight to look at. So if you're into the comic or maybe discovering it for the first time, you might want to tune in every Monday and take a look at what we're doing here. It's a great series. It had its ups and downs, but overall, a great series and one of my favorites. Until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I will hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.